Hello, YouTube! This is Stefan with Rip City Baseworks, and today I have for you the best budget phones you can buy in 2017. So, to start off, the criteria I used was performance, features, price, and stability and prevalence of the custom ROM community for like security updates and being on the latest version of Android. So, start us off at number 5, we have the LG Nexus 4. And so you can get this device for around between $50 and $70 depending on the day and how lucky you get. Seller refurbished in this case. It's going to be hard to find a brand new one at this point. So the specs you're looking at are pretty mediocre for today. But the price is, you can't really beat it for the price, unlocked, so you can use it on AT&T and T-Mobile. The only drawback of this phone is that it does not have LTE. So, and that's what brought it down to 5, as benchmark is what you would expect for an older phone. But the has one of the best custom ROM communities. It's all the way up to the latest version, Android 7.1.2. So it's gets better updates than most of the current flagships even. So moving on, device number 4 is the LG G2 Unlock GSM. I believe this one in particular is originally for AT&T, and yes, there's the item. So this one's going to be closer to 100, so that's what brings it down on this one, the price. But this one has a lot more features than the Nexus. Better camera, much better processor, bigger battery, better display, and it has LTE. So micro SD card, I believe, also. And even infrared, so it has a lot of features, slightly better benchmarks even, so, and it also has a pretty decent roaming community. Not quite as good as the Nexus 4, but still you'll be able to find almost the latest version of Android. I don't see any 7.1.2, but 7.1.1. Oh, there's 7.1.2 right there, so there you go. You have many options to choose from for stability and customization. So moving on, at number 3, we have the Samsung Galaxy S4. This one is GSM Unlocked T-Mobile. This is going to set you back $85, and again, it will fluctuate depending on what sellers are selling it currently. But this one also has LTE support, and it also has many features. Has the Snapdragon 600, so processor isn't quite as good, but I'm pretty sure the benchmark scores are actually a little bit better, so it's a little bit better optimized than the G2. Has a really nice screen especially considering how old the device is. Has a removable battery, similar to the G2, I guess, and expandable storage, and a decent camera, and impressive Antutu scores considering it has a Snapdragon 600 processor, and it also has a pretty good roaming community. You also have the latest version of Android. And yeah. Number 2, we have the most expensive one on the list, the HTC One M8. Now this one's going to be a little bit tougher to find at this price. This is the only one on eBay I could find for just at 100 pretty much. So if you can find it for cheap, this one's probably the best buy. It has stereo speakers, has a controversial camera. I guess some people do like it, even though it's really low megapixels. It was kind of revolutionary as it was the first mainstream phone with dual cameras. Has a very good build quality, and the specs are good also. Has the best processor of all of these. Micro SD, infrared, and the biggest feature of all, stereo speakers. Really good Antutu score for a budget phone, and decent to mediocre to decent roaming community. So you will also have the latest Android on here. So now the number one budget phone that I was able to find, the Moto X 2nd generation. This one's about the same price as the S4, but it is also slightly better. So has, again, 801, a little bit smaller battery, has a better camera than, probably the best camera of the ones on the list, I'm pretty sure. It's less controversial than the M8, so has a nice AMOLED screen, the perfect screen size for many people, 5.2 inches. The only thing about this one is it has a lack of features. It's more like a Nexus or OnePlus device. It has no infrared. I believe, does it have NFC? It does have NFC, so you have that at least. Android Pay possibly. And it has LTE. So there you have it. Kind of middle ground Antutu scores. It's cheaper than the Moto, which is why it won out. I mean, it's cheaper than the M8, which is why it won the number one slot. So not quite as good performance, running very stock Android, and it has a pretty good roaming community. So there you go. And the one honorable mention, it is slightly over 100 though, usually, unless you buy directly from a carrier. The Moto E4, it gets about a 30,000 on Antutu, and it brand new. It costs about 130 unless you buy it with ads or from a carrier, which then it's around between 70 and 100 depending on what carrier you buy it from. So there you have it.